Elianne, I am Dutch, even though I might not sound it or look it. Grown up in Den Bosch, I've lived in Australia, Ghana, and Papua New Guinea, Singapore. Moved back to the Netherlands 5 years ago now. And my day job is, and has been for a very long time, is consulting. So I started in consulting with Deloitte, did that in the Netherlands and Europe, and then moved to Australia, did that some more. Then moved to nonprofit world, was undercover consulting, and then I went freelance in 2011. And ever since then, I've been working with usually large corporates, but also small, medium-sized enterprise to help them move from strategy to execution, execute transformations, guide full teams, those stakeholder management, implement hard or must-stick change really in big organizations. So that could be divestments, mergers, but also restructuring, as in downsizing. And what my role in that is usually is engaging with the stakeholders, forming a plan, finding the data, following the data, and building the business case, and then executing on the business case and the plan. Well, it pays well. That's first. For the second one, I guess, I love variety. So I understand my needs. I need variety. I want to explore things with people. I love ambiguity. I thrive in ambiguity, I think, which is not necessarily for everyone. And I'm just innately curious, so I ask apparently sometimes really hard questions. I think my superpower is gaining clarity and quite quickly, and then making sure that is communicable, basically being able to communicate that with clarity. It's a very, very broad topic for me, and it's a bit of a container term. So how I would define transformation is the caterpillar to the butterfly effect. It's living with ambiguity, and it's living with change really, and I guess enabling people to make that change, even including myself. And it might be small things, it might be habitual things, but it might be big things. It might be, moving a house for me is a transformation because it's so disruptive and it takes so much energy, and you basically, your world kind of topsy-turvy. There's two things I guess I realized in my career. One is everything's about money, and the common denominator is people. So if you have those two, in my side job as a co-founder of Epic, I focus on the money part and doing innovative things with financing structures. The common denominator being people, including myself. I believe we all have basic needs, and we all have different ways of expressing those. And having change accepted requires you to connect with people. I found host extremely valuable in terms of understanding smarter ways of doing that faster. I went to a host demo and I thought, this stuff really works. And so then I applied the host guide, some of the host guide principles, and people were amazed by my facilitation skills, which is partly me, but also partly the host guide. So. Well, I think it's kind of like you have a Swiss Army knife of things that you can pick from. And it's not just a tool, but it's also the structure, and then it's a process. So it's little exercises, it's very interactive, and it's not just gimmicky exercises, it's actually exercises which you can place in a wider context. That's a really unique trait that I've not seen before. One of the really cool basic tools that you can actually apply in any context is the power questions. So asking just very simple questions that create space, get people to be present and to connect with one another on a not so rational level, but more with their hearts and their guts. So really living the tools, using them, applying them, and seeing what that brings for my own self-development, because as a freelancer, you only develop as much as you are allowing yourself. So you got to invest in yourself, which is what I do through host. There's a level of honesty and being able to show up vulnerably, being able to wanting to ask the hard questions. The other thing, I think, there's a humility in it as well, which is not necessarily the same. And there's a willingness to share. So they're related. I would also say that they're all experienced people. These are people that are seasoned. They've done it before, and they come for specific cases in specific contexts. So you're really working with peers. If you're in doubt whether host is for you or not, I'd ask you 2 questions. Are you committed to your own development? Because it's all about what you bring to the table, and what you do for you. So understanding this is not about the diploma or the certificate or the status that comes with, but it's about you actually wanting to develop yourself. I think that's key. And the second question is, are you ready and able to show up in real terms, online and or offline, as an authentic person? I think you'll thrive best if you bring your authentic self to the host community. And then I think you'll get massive value out of it, and fun, because fun is very important. I definitely consider partnering up with host. We've already spoken about this, doing revenue-based financing structure or revenue share. I believe in the power of connecting people. I think the toolkit's extremely comprehensive, so the quality's there. I would happily share it with contacts and connections, and I would encourage companies that I know to invest for their people in host, because I think it only takes one person to enable change, right? Yeah, totally could see partnering up work really well. What I wish for host is for it to become the new norm, that humans, given that we are the common denominator, that we are unique yet so alike, that host becomes a toolkit that's embedded and ingrained everywhere, basically, from education to science to we are all human. Like, AI will not change that. We will still have to deal with humans, and guess who builds the AI? The humans. So the more we can bring the humanity back into work, into everyday life, I think the better the world will become.